cigarettes and dope and mustard and bologna, liquor and whores. Well, I was down.
Pickle Rick! Okay, this is Vantage Point. I'm here to cover the two NFL playoff games. The Wildcards, Tennessee Titans at Kansas City, and Atlanta Falcons at LA Rams. I'll be doing this weekly, covering UFC, football, and the NFL, and any other sport that I want to cover. You can also subscribe, and you can subscribe and listen to our weekly podcast, as well as weekly covering with sports. And in the podcast we'll be covering news, and we'll be delving into a few issues like heart attacks, health, and whatever the hell else I want to talk about. Vantage Point is starting off. I'm John Mack, and I'd appreciate your support. So subscribe and press the like button if you like it. If you don't like it, leave some horrible comments. First game we're covering is Tennessee Titans at the Kansas City Chiefs. So what I do weekly is, while I watch the games, I make notes, and I'll take you through the notes. And this game had a bit of everything: good plays, bad referees, bad flipping umpiring decisions, drama at the end, a flipping quarterback throwing a pass to somebody, and we'll see who he threw it to later. So here we go. This game had a bit of everything: good plays, bad referees, bad flipping umpiring decisions, drama at the end, a flipping quarterback throwing a pass to somebody, and we'll see who he threw it to later. If you were a Tennessee fan, this is what you would have seen. Touchdown number 1.
15 yards or more in the regular season than anybody else in the league. 19 of them. Play fake, touchdown. That was
touchdown number 2. Now you see Kansas City has scored 2 touchdowns, and if you're Kansas City, well, you're probably thinking, what the hell can go wrong? In Tennessee, I don't think they thought they would ever win this game, but. So if you're Kansas City, what can go wrong? Well, Dick LeBeau going to his defense and talking to them and getting the Titans to just calm down and flip. Let's just do what we've been doing and we'll get into this game. And what can go wrong for Kansas City? Alex Smith turning into playoff Alex Smith. On the other side, of you in Tennessee side, you think, okay, they've scored 2 touchdowns, still early in the game, we can get back. And then Mariota walks, they start moving the ball down the field. And what does Mariota do? He throws an intercept. And all the momentum stops. Well, this was a great game. But once again, the refereeing decisions has to be talked about in this game, because there was a few awful ones. First awful decision: how the hell is this forward progress? Can somebody explain this to me? How is this not a sack?
G. Ragland. A blitz. Mario flattened. Back at the 30-yard line. The ball on the ground.
Second bad decision was in Kansas City. And this was if they use a playback for bloody everything, but when there's a clear flip and fumble, they don't use it. I don't know if they felt sorry for Kelsey or what the hell it was, but they didn't call this. And this was a clear fumble. He didn't need any touch. Albert didn't touch. He fumbled it. It was going out of his hands before he touched the ground.
The league is his stuff. 4-man rush. Smith over the middle. They get the 8-yard loss back in.
That's a knockout blow. But obviously they're not going to. This was the highlights on NFL. Obviously they're not going to show Kelsey fumbling the ball. I don't care if he's knocked out. He fumbled it. Doesn't matter that he's knocked out. Now you're down 14-3. But at this stage I wasn't worried about Tennessee, because Dick LeBeau got that defense sorted out. And they scored again.
Jy maar wag vir jou kos.
Ek wil net hier klaar maak, ek sal kom.
Kendrick West, the running back. He's the receiver. He got enough for the first down, then alertly stepped out out of bounds.
Drill in the playoffs, you got to be a little bit more challenging than that.
Logan Ryan, a corner blitz, man wide open. Robinson, a touchdown.
Yeah, it's the beginning of the second half, and my man crush's wife said, well, the quarterback can't throw it and catch it himself, but apparently you can.
Dire need of 6 and not 3. Mariota to the line of scrimmage, maybe across the line. It deflects back to him for a touchdown for the moment.
This is only the second time in NFL history this has happened. I think it was Brad Johnson did it for the Vikings. But this is the first time this has happened in playoff history. Mariota to Mariota. This stage, and Kansas City, after they scored this, they're still down 2 scores. But you can see they figured out Kansas City. The defense figured them out in any case. But it's still Mariota and that Tennessee offense. So can they come back? Well, let's see if they can. Just getting some momentum for Tennessee. And then you go and do this.
Colquitt will punt again on 4th down and 2. Adoree Jackson still back there. And he doesn't fair catch off, and he muffs the punt. My goodness! Ball loose at the...
This is how bad this game had to be to make it a good game. You just... Usually what all the pundits would say, if you go down like 2 scores, you sort of forced to throw the ball. But this Tennessee didn't do that. The game plan was to run the ball, run it again, and run it some more. And even down 2 scores, they kept on running it into Henry, and this worked out for them. I mean, you don't have to throw it if you're down. If you haven't got time left, obviously, but they had lots of time left because they got down early. Said they decided, okay, Henry's going to be our man. They kept on running it. Mariota was sort of the second rusher, and Henry went down and did this.
The Titans would love a first down. 30 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter. Trying to battle back closer, and it's on target. Delaney Walker, a first down. Kansas City did not have a first down in the 3rd quarter. They had just 6 yards. The Titans had the ball for nearly 11 minutes. Henry ripping through. Henry inside the 20. Henry inside the 5.
After the Henry touchdown, they went for 2 points. I didn't get why they went for 2 points there. 2-point conversion. I would have just kicked a field goal, and this would come to this missed field goal would cost them. Well, it almost cost them an end. I really like the defensive game plan of Dick LeBeau because he never played it soft. Maybe he didn't have a choice because they were behind, but he rushed Alex Smith and he made him look ordinary. Now, when I started my notes on this game, the first catch on the first drive of Mariota, Decker dropped an easy catch, and I wrote down, is this going to be indicative of this game for the Titans? But then Decker goes and sort of now keep in mind, just before this throw he missed a wide open receiver, and Decker looked like his hands were made of stone because he couldn't catch shit. And Decker did this.
Flags down on the field. He's down in Kansas City territory at the 45. It's remarkable how many times they've done it already.
This is a great catch.
From the 22, 2nd and 10. Mariota to the goal line. Touchdown, Tennessee. Eric Decker hangs on.
After this, they missed another 2-point conversion, which means they're in the lead, but I think they're only a point in lead, where if they kicked the 2 field goals, they would have been 3 points in the lead, so they would have still been safe with the field goal. So sometimes you have to take what you can get. This stage where Kansas City still had 3 timeouts. There was a bit more than 2 minutes left, so Kansas City are using all their timeouts, and I think it's 3rd and 10. And if Tennessee gets a first down, they basically win the game.
Hand it off to Henry.
Mariota
blocks Henry. First down and more.
And that's a wrap, baby.
Marcus Mariota in there to throw a block for Henry.
They run a zone read. They do not block Frank Zombo until Marcus Mariota picks him up late.
Right, back
They run a zone read against an all-out.
That play, that was a wrap. They nailed down what victory formation. So in summary, before the game started, they compared Alex Smith's numbers to Tom Brady, which is sacrilegious. Because there's a big difference. The numbers might be the same, but the outcome never is for Alex Smith. Mariota, this was more like a college game than an NFL game with all the mistakes and the bad refereeing calls and the way they played it. But that suited Mariota to the bone. And I think everybody would come out saying Mariota, he played well. He played really well. But I think the defense for Titans, if Mariota can put a few points on the board, I think Tennessee could have a lot of hope going into the rest of the playoffs.
Correct, I'm taking over the show, Bubbles!
Hey, what are you doing? I told you not to start doing stuff while I'm recording, and you're not taking over my show. Pick a Rick is my show. And it's a call. Oh! Now, for the second game, the LA Rams versus the Atlanta Falcons, or the Atlanta Falcons at the LA Rams. I'll go quarter by quarter through this game, but I'll just say the most decisive thing in this was turnovers. In the beginning, you have a good start by both defenses. Both defenses played very well, and then this happened.
Cooper back to run it back. Backs up, now comes forward, starts to call for the fair catch, then has to let it go. And the ball is loose, and it hit Cooper. And if the Falcons recover it, they're going to be in great shape, and they think they have. We'll wait for Hockley and the crew to come in.
Now, that was turned out to be a turnover for Atlanta, and Cooper featured very prominently in this game. And for all the wrong reasons. So that was the first turnover, Mr. Cooper, and special teams, and Atlanta cashed in with a field goal.
Super Bowl, 4 weeks from tomorrow's Super Bowl 52. NBC will be there. Farrell Cooper from the 9-yard line to run it back. Spins away, and if Laws loses the ball, and Atlanta may have come up with it at the third.
Let's just say, in this game, it looked like, well, Atlanta looks like the team that went to the Super Bowl last year. And LA at this stage looks like the rookie team that's never been in the playoffs. Special teams screwed them, let's be honest. But Atlanta, they played well and they did not throw the ball. I think in the whole game there was only one pass about over 10 yards. In the whole game, one pass over 10 yards. So how the hell are you going to win by not passing the ball? You run the ball. Atlanta gets another turnover, second turnover. And every turn, the most important thing in this game, which Kansas City didn't do in their game, is they converted the intercepts into points. And they didn't just convert them into field goals, they converted into...
Like help now.
At the top, give it to Freeman. He's going to bust his way as he leads and gets in. Touchdown behind Alex.
Okay, that wasn't the end of it. I mean, Goff played well, but Gurley, I think he may have had 100 yards, but still couldn't get into the game. Like I said, both defenses played well, but the turnovers cost LA. They just cost them. You can't have that many turnovers. If you have those many turnovers, you have to get turnovers yourselves, which they didn't do. Like, and that's what Falcons did. They ran the ball, and ran it some more, and did not give the ball back to LA. And the time of possession, they had many drives where they didn't score. 10 plays, 12 plays, 15 play drives. They didn't score. They scored maybe a field goal. They didn't get touchdowns. But time of possession, really, it was sort of a reverse of the Super Bowl, where Atlanta played well and had these big plays, but they scored quickly and they didn't keep possession of the ball, and they didn't have time of possession, which meant their defense, the Rams' defense, they were out there for a long time because their offense couldn't keep them off the field because it was free and out. But just before the end of the half, Goff took them down. They got a field goal. They should have had a touchdown. In any case, that's what you get. That's the end of the first half, and it's 13-10. Atlanta. The Rams are still in the game. I mean, they're not out of it. At this point, Atlanta isn't running away with it, but the Rams aren't getting any offense. But then Goff takes him down the field, and he gets his touchdown.
Goff, 3rd and 5. And Goff will throw to the end zone, and it's hauled in by Cooper Kupp. Touchdown.
After this touchdown, Goff marches them down the field again, and they get another field goal. So first half ends 10-13, 13-10 to Atlanta. So the Rams are still in this if they don't screw up again. Before I start talking about the second half, I just want to say Aaron Donald, if there was ever an MVP in this game on the losing side, it was Aaron Donald. He played his heart out. But on the first drive of the Falcons in the second half, they just ran the ball, and you could just see LA's defense just couldn't take it. I mean, they've been out there almost twice as long as the Falcons have, and eventually it's going to take its toll, and it did. If I was LA, I'd rather have flipping the Falcons having big passing plays and scoring quickly to get back on the field than to have these draining 15 play drives where they just drain the clock and basically drain the defense. And like I said, this was like this was a mirror image of what happened to the Falcons in the Super Bowl. So it looks like they might have learned a few lessons, and going forward, I think they've won 6 out of 8. So Atlanta might be a dark horse, which they shouldn't be. I mean, they were last year's Super Bowl finalists. Now, the last few weeks, the funny thing for me was, well, not the funny thing. Everybody was copying Sean McVay with all these. He's the master of the screenplay. And Atlanta was the kryptonite of the screenplay this night. They couldn't get anything going on the screen game. And then I say the second MVP in this game is Bryant with that 52-yard field goal. He is on the money. And if you're in the playoffs, you need a good kicker, and he's better than a good kicker. He's a great kicker. Ironies of all ironies. It's sort of half a screenplay, but it could fall in that category of screenplay. Sanu takes it down the line, Mohamed Sanu, and sets up a chance in the red zone. Bryant, what a kick!
Last Sunday, Bosher puts it down, and Bryant's
42 years old.
This guy is ageless. He is ageless.
At this point, the Falcons said, "Take this, Sean McVay."
On 2nd and 13. Blitz coming to the outside they go. They pick up blocking. That's Sanu, Mohamed Sanu. Off to the races he goes, and he will get tackled at the 10-yard line by Joyner. Huge play for the Falcons.
Now, you know, after that run, if they score there, it's probably game over. Goff is good, but he's no Tom Brady. The Falcons always like to keep it interesting, but if you look at this play by Matt Ryan, this was brilliant. It was really good. And Julio Jones, which he hasn't gone into the end well. I think he's only had 3 red zone touchdowns, and this happens. Look at the back foot of Matt Ryan.
They'll go play action, and that pass is going to be hauled in by Jones for a touchdown. A floater, and he's able.
You would not advise your quarterback to throw that there, would you? Not with your back foot sliding, but he did, and it was good throw. But still, you know, I think every coach says once your foot goes, your back foot goes, just throw that away, but he didn't. And well, maybe that's what it takes to win a playoff game. So that touchdown was basically game over, but the Rams did move it down a few times and almost had a touchdown. The Falcons secondary should have been called on a hold on Sammy Watkins. Would it have made a difference? Maybe. I mean, they had no timeouts of 2 minutes left, so they would have had to retrieve an onside kick. Hey, the Falcons went through. And there was just one little thing at the end of the game, just to put the cherry on the cake. Cooper Wentz and almost muffs another punt. And that's the story of the game. So, on this one, the Falcons rushing game won this game. And their defense. The defense playing really well. They got one of the secondary guys back that they didn't have last. On the LA Rams side, I think this team, they've learned a lot. You'd preferably win and learn, but I think they've learned a lot, and I think they'll be back next year. Somehow I don't have this notion that they're going to be like Carr and the Raiders, or hyped up like Jameis Winston in Tampa Bay. I think this is a steady team with a good coach, and they could go a long way next year. This is John Mack signing off, Sports Edition number 2. I'll be back tomorrow with Saints Panthers, which is going to be box office, hopefully. Or maybe the Saints will just destroy the Panthers. And Bulls and Jaguars. See you tomorrow. Signing out with Pickled Rick.
Drinking at the Legion, I met a girl, she was nice, she was pretty and pleasing. She said, hey boy, we should do some marrying. And I said sure, but before we do, there's something that you should know. I like liquor and whore.